All right, 3:33. So this is the video for April 17th, Friday. We're doing transformations of parabolas, day 3. The first problem is just like the problems that we did yesterday, all right? So I see that on the inside, it's a -1, and on the outside, it's a +2. So that -1 tells me that it's going to move to the right one. And that +2 tells me it's going to move up 2. All right, let's check and see if we got it. So we're going to plug in -3 for x. -3 minus 1 is -4, and -4 squared is 16. 16 plus 2 is 18. -2 minus 1 is -3. -3 squared is 9, and 9 plus 2 is 11. -1 minus 1 is -2. -2 squared is 4, and 4 plus 2 is 6. 0 minus 1 is -1. -1 squared is 1, and 1 plus 2 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 squared is 0, plus 2 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. And then that last one, I'm going to get 6. So I'm going to graph the ones I can actually graph. So -1, 6. All right. 0, 3. 1, 2. 2, 3. And 3, 6. All right, and I do see that I was correct, that this parabola did move to the right one and up 2. All right, so what we are dealing with today is when there's a coefficient in front of the x squared. So if you guys remember back a long time ago when we started using Desmos, Michaela had made a discovery that sometimes when there's a coefficient in front of the x squared, that sometimes it either got wider or sometimes it got narrower. So we're going to try to figure out what's going on here and how can we predict what's going on. All right, so our first one says y equals 2x squared. So that means we're multiplying it by 2. All right, so my guess is it's either going to get wider or narrower. I don't know which one it is at this point, so I'm just going to write that in. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug in these points and see which one it is. So -3 squared is 9, and 9 times 2 is 18. -2 squared is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. -1 squared is 1, and 1 times 2 is 2. 0 squared is 0, and 0 times 2 is 0. 1 squared is 1, and 1 times 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. 3 squared is 9, and 9 times 2 is 18. All right, so I'm going to graph those points. I'm going to leave out the ones with the 18 because that's going to be hard to graph. So -2, 8. -1, 2. 0, 0. 1, 2. And 2, 8. So I see what actually ended up happening is it got narrower. If you notice, this is much skinnier than the parabolas that we were using yesterday. So I'm going to write down that I kind of got it correct. All right, so the next one says, what do you think the graph of y equals 4x squared to look like? Well, I think it's going to get even narrower, even skinnier is my guess. So we're going to write narrower. All right, let's plug this in. So -3 squared is 9, and 9 times 4 is 20. 9 times 4 is 36. -2 squared is 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. -1 squared is 1, and 1 times 4 is 4. 0 squared is 0, and 0 times 4 is 0. All right, and I keep going with that. And I see that I can't graph most of these numbers. I can only graph -1, 4, 0, 0, and 1, 4. And I see that I was correct. I've got a really skinny parabola here. Awesome. Okay. The next one says, what do you expect the graph of 1/2 x squared to look like in comparison? Well, if a number bigger than 1 made it skinnier, then I'm thinking maybe that a number that's a fraction that's smaller than 1 might make it wider. So that's going to be my guess, wider. All right, so let's plug this in. -3 squared is 9, and half of 9 is 4.5, or 4.5. -2 squared is 4, and half of 4 is 2. -1 squared is 1, and half of 1 is a half. 0 squared is 0, and then times that by a half is 0. All right, I finished out the rest of this, and then I'm going to graph it. So -3, 4.5, -2, 2, -1, 1/2, All right, I finished graphing these right here, and I do see that I was right. I ended up with a much wider parabola that looked like that. All right, so on the next page, it says, what do you expect the graph of y equals negative 2x squared? All right, so 2 means it's going to get narrower. And that negative 2 means it's going to flip. So instead of being a regular U, it's going to flip upside down and now become an upside down U. So I'm going to say narrower and upside down. That's my guess. All right, let's plug these in. So negative 3 squared is 9, and 9 times negative 2 is negative 18. Negative 2 squared is 4, and 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Negative 1 squared is 1, and negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. 0 squared is 0, and negative 2 times 0, so on like that. I keep plugging in all the numbers. Now I'm going to graph the ones that I can actually graph. So negative 2, negative 8. Negative 1, negative 2. 0, 0. And I was correct. I ended up with an upside down parabola that is much skinnier than the ones we did yesterday. All right, the next one says, what do you expect the graph of y equals negative 1/2? Okay, well, when we just did 1/2, it got wider. And we just realized that when it's negative, it's going to flip upside down. So I'm going to say wider and upside down. All right, so negative 3 squared is 9, and negative 1/2 times that is negative 4.5. Negative 2 squared is 4, and negative 1/2 times that is negative 2. Then I'm going to get negative 1/2, 0, so on, like that. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to graph these points. So guys, if at any point I'm going too fast for you, you should pause this and come back to it, rewind it, so on like that. That's the benefit of us doing this online, is you can make this whatever you need to make it so that you can be learning. All right, so it looks like I was correct. It is upside down and it is much wider. All right, we're gonna take it up a whole nother step. So the next one says y equals negative 2x squared. So I know it's going to be upside down and it's going to be skinnier. And then it says minus 1. So it's going to be upside down, skinnier, and it's going to move down one space. So upside down, skinnier, and it's going to move down one. All right, so go ahead and keep plugging this in here. Do the second problem on this page and do the exit slip. I will upload these under your completed notes. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.